Welcome in, everyone. Today's video we're going to recap our flow alerts for Stock Hub for the week of 5/13 to 5/17. A couple of these were also posted on X, so we're just going to go over the flow alerts, go over the movement of the contracts, and kind of touch on the flow too. So let's get started here. So on Tuesday we actually didn't have anything come in Monday, so starting on Tuesday we had KWEB calls, the 5/24/32 calls at 0.46. So looking here, we obviously had repeated hits. We had good size, good volume over open interest, so we knew this was an opening trade. Looking here, obviously clean entry. Net put premium was up a little bit here. Typically I like seeing the net call premium up, but could see a spike there. And we also had some KWEB calls kind of last week as well, so I kind of knew people were bullish on it, so that's why I posted that one a little earlier. Now let's look at, pull up here, and this is actually during market hours, so sorry if some stuff's going on here. So again, this came in on the 14th. Let me pop this back. So interesting flow here. Obviously here's your entry on the 14th. You can see the average fill at 46. It looks like this whale exited at 39 for a loss, because you can kind of see that down here. So the 14th, that open interest, or that volume carried over into open interest, and then on the 16th, which is right here, we had 1,400 contracts traded, and we only had 585 carryover. So if this whale would have carried the contracts over, volume should have been about 7,000. So to me, they were closing the contracts here for a loss. And actually looking at this, these hit 0.99, I actually have the contracts here, so let me pull them up here. So the KWEB calls right here. So this was your entry here at 46 on the 14th. And they actually topped out at 105, so that was 128%, and this whale actually ended up cutting for a loss, it looks like. So, and obviously kind of looking at the net premium over the last, let me bump it back to 7 days. That net premium, I mean, it was pretty flat for a lot. We had some call volume here, some more call volume there, big call volume here, and then it's dying off today. So this whale actually took the L, but these did end up running for 128%. So moving on here. So next we had Apple. So these came again on the 14th. Repeated hits on the 5/31, 187.5 puts at 240, 500 size, 120K premium. Good volume here over the open interest. Obviously you can tell this is an opening trade again. Just kind of by looking at here, obviously big giant whale opening here. We there was a nice spike in net put premium. Oh, we're looking at the SPY call. My bad. So Apple. So here's your entry on Apple. Huge spike in net call premium here. Something I typically wouldn't have took, but again, premium was there, and the volume for puts was way above the volume for calls, so that's what stuck out there to me. And looking at the flow here, so this was your whale on the 14th, entering at 242, and we had some more ask side volume here. Now we have a bunch of bid side here. To me, I want to kind of see how this carries over. This whale looks, if they're still in, they're down now, but these did end up actually hitting 301 intraday. So I mean, the whale was up roughly 25%, which I will pull up the contracts here and show everybody. So Apple, let me reset the chart here, bump it to the 5-minute, make it a little easier. So here was our entry on the 14th. These actually did top out at 302 same day, so about 25% there. And again, this is a reason why I say you don't have to just continuously follow the whales. When you're in profits, you should be adjusting up stops no matter what. If this whale's idea was Apple to go down. They are down, I mean, a significant amount right now. So they're running at 94 right now. Whale was 240 for the entry. So they're down quite a bit if they are still bearish. So I mean, this is why I say just always adjust stops up and be smart. So those did run 25%. So moving on now, we have SPY. So again, this was Tuesday, CPI was on Wednesday. So again, assume this was CPI flow. So we had repeated hits with an ascending fill on the 522, 530 call at 107. Again, clean entry, and usually I don't like calling out ETF flow. I did make notes in the chat and kind of told everybody I was going to post some CPI flow and stuff. So I typically will not post ETF flow just because a lot of it can be hedged, but here's your clean entry. Net premiums were down. I assume this was a CPI play, and we kind of talked about CPI throughout the week, so that's another reason why I posted it. So let's look at this whale. This whale actually had a really good trade. So again, these came in on the 14th. Here is your entry on the 14th. Again, it looks like this whale is still in, so you can see a lot of this volume kind of carrying over a little bit. So actually, it looks like they probably took some off here. I was trying to read the candles and that at the same time, so excuse that. But yeah, I mean, intraday even, these ran 106, 130, nice 30% scalp for that whale. So, but these ended up obviously with CPI topping out at 341. I believe that's what it has here. I'll check the contract here in a second, but I mean, obviously this whale was correct. Let's look at the SPY contract here. So I have all these marked with their entries. So the 14th they entered, and they entered at 106. Let me come back down here. So 106. Here's your whale entries. You can see all the volume coming in there. So again, that's the full range of the contract there. Great find by that whale. So, and which obviously swinging into CPI, not always recommended. Nobody knows what the numbers are going to be. So moving on now, we have KVUE, which came in on the 15th, and I will pull this up here. So again, we had some puts on SPY there too, and those did run intraday. I actually didn't pull those ones. So more SPY puts, and then we had some AMC again. The meme stuff I kind of touched on in the chat. It's 100% a gamble, so I'm not going to recap that one, but they were AMC puts. So, and QQQ, actually we had repeated hits on the 524, 53 call and 454 call. These ended up running 97 2, and those were for the 14th, the 20th, so 453. So those touched 311, so from 9.97 to 313, again over 200%, which came in right before CPI. So CPI brought the markets up, obviously. So let's move on here. So KVUE now. So again, we had repeated hits on the 6/7/21 call at 0.31 per contract, 2,824 contracts, and again at the time the volume was greater than the open interest. A little smaller premium, 88,000, but still a significant whale. Looking here, obviously we had all pretty much ask side flow, a little bid side flow, which you can see here in the morning, but you can see the huge spike, especially later in the day, on the ask side of the net call premiums. So net put premium was still up a little bit, which you can see we were kind of coming down there, but the volume of calls was outweighing the volume of puts at the time. So let's take a peek here at the flow now. So KVUE. So again, your entry 31, They're at 0.43 right now. So let me pull up the contract here. So again, obviously a good whale there. So again, here's your whale entry. You can see that right here. And then these are running at 0.43 right now. So this whale looks to still be in. They're up 38% right now. So another decent find there. So moving on to MDT, so Medtronic, and I want to show everybody the Discord one first just to know I'm posting them in here as well. So repeated hits ascending fill, 524.86 call, 0.97, good sizing obviously against the open interest, good premium as well. And this is pretty much textbook flow that I like. Huge volume coming in. Very clean entry, no multi-leg, pretty much all ask side volume here. Huge spike in net call premium, calls outweighing puts. And let's see how this one turned out. This one actually ran intraday too, so again 0.97 was your fill. And these, you can just see the movement of the price of the contracts here, running at 182 for those. Or they topped out at 182. So that is, I had the wrong number typed in there. So about 89% on those contracts. This whale's up still currently, it looks like. So obviously you can see that here. Here's the volume from the 15th carrying over into open interest. Whale's still in clearly because we haven't had that many contracts traded. Up 89% with a week to go. I would assume with Theta over the weekend they might close before the bell today. We'll see. So moving on now, we had Walmart come in, and this came in on the interval flow, so this wasn't in the flow alerts. So we had an average fill of 72 on 2,563 contracts, 184K for premium. This volume accounted for 78.8% of that chain's volume. 64 days out, a little longer, so the next couple alerts, they're a little further out, so they're kind of harder to recap when they're 56 days out, 3 weeks out, a little harder to recap just because they haven't made a move yet. So I will still touch on them. A lot of these whales are still in, so if you're watching this video, feel free to do what you want with that information. So Walmart here, 64 days out, and Walmart beat earnings. They had good earnings. This flow came in, this is post earnings, so again, very clean entry, ask side volume against bid side volume, which this is probably profit taking after the big 6% run up here. Huge spike in net call premium. Nobody really buying puts, kind of sit on the bid side of puts. Call volume really outweighing the put volume. So this one, actually, let me pull this one up here. So Walmart, this one actually had a dip. So sometimes with these longer out contracts, you're going to see a dip just because the whales are looking at a longer time frame versus something that comes in that 7 days. I say this in all my videos. If I see something come in 7 days, the aggression level you can assume is a little quicker for a move for the whales versus 60 days. A whale can sit. They're looking at the longer time frame picture on that. So looking here, and it actually looks like this whale might be taking some profits here today. So here's your fill, 0.72. They are 0.89 right now, and again I can show everybody that here as well on the contract. So actually these touched 0.91, so about 26% on those contracts. And let's go back to this. So yeah, you see this bid side flow here, and again you can't fully confirm this until Monday when you see the open interest updates, but whale obviously had a dip. These dipped down to actually about 48, so if you could have got a better entry there. They're running about 89.91 right now, so again, another solid find there as well. So moving on, so now this is one SHLS, and I'm going to bump this a little closer since it's closer. This whale's actually down right now, and again, this is what I was saying, it's a little tougher to kind of analyze the longer term trades like this. So, but let's I'm gonna bump this out a couple days. So bump it out 3 days. So obviously yesterday had that huge spike in net call premium. Net put premium has been pretty much non-existent, and even I'll go back 7 days here. So again, a little net call premium here, a little net put premium, but for the most part, it's a lot of bullish premium coming in here as well. So something to watch there. Again, this whale's on a longer time frame. You can see this whale's still in, very easy. This came in yesterday on the 16th, 44.51 contracts, and all of them pretty much carrying over. Whale is down a little bit, but still 63 days on this contracts. So I will I don't have that one marked just because it's down a little bit. And we had that post here obviously when it came in. This was an interval flow one. So this accounted for 99% of the volume. These are 10% out of the money. Again, 64 days out. Good premium. Average fill of 0.60. And again, just looking here, very clean entry. This was the volume at the time, very easy to read. Huge spike in that net call premium. So moving on, we have AAL, and we had 2 sets of repeated hits come in, both on the 14.5 put for a spot, which is the fill, of 0.39 and 40 for about 7,500 contracts, roughly 300K in premium. You can see that's where all the volume was on the day. And quickly looking here, obviously there's your volume, a little volume earlier in the day. Huge spike in net put premium, and with that the volume of puts switched to a higher rate of calls, but throughout the day more calls than puts coming in. And again, this one is again pretty flat right now. I have this one marked off. Here's your whales entry right here yesterday. They're running about 37. Their fill was 40. So again, they have 21 days on those contracts. So again, a little harder to analyze, but let me pull it up here again. So looks like this whale's still in as well. Here's your fill, 39. Just kind of chopping around 38, 37. About break even on that one. So it's actually really interesting. There's a lot of puts coming in there as well. Sorry, market's still open obviously, so I'm kind of looking at that like, hey, that looks kind of good. Alright, so DraftKings is next. So DraftKings, we only got a couple more to go. So DraftKings, so these came in yesterday. We had multiple repeated hits on the 44 or the 621.44 put, all 1,000 contracts. This could be the same person. It's really very similar looking, so to me that kind of sticks out. And here's all your ask side flow. These 3 candles here, the bigger candles here, and you can see the contracts here, 1,000. Those are those 3 alerts here. We did have some ask side flow before. Huge spike in net put premium. Still seeing more calls, Bob, but call net put premium kind of switching to the bid side. So obviously see that volume over open interest there. And oops, I want to bring up this. So DraftKings, this was a really nice trade if anybody swung that. But we this is a really good example of why you need to check open interest in the morning too. So I'll kind of break that down as well here. But your 3 whales here coming in all about 130 to 134 on there. We had this, I'll get out of the way. So okay, we had this red bid side candle come in here. Obviously you can see it's a bid of 1,010 contracts, and we had some mid flow come here in at 1,041 contracts. So initially you might think, hey, is this whale taking profits? Because bid side, you can kind of assume they're selling those contracts then, and the mid side, we don't know which side they're on, but I would kind of assume, well, there were 3,000 contracts and there's 2,000 being traded, with DraftKings being up, that this whale is securing some profits. So looking at the next day, so we had 7,700 contracts traded that day. Look how many carried over. These whales, see, this is a perfect example of, just because it's bid side or mid side doesn't mean they're closing. This volume carried over. They got filled at the bid and at the mid, and the ideas ran in their direction. So I mean, they got billed at that, or filled at that 134. These are running about 182 right now, 179, and I believe they topped out a little higher though today. So let's pull it up here. Yep, topped out at about 186, so a little under 40% there. About 38.81% there was the max range there. So again, your 3 whale entries here, that range of the contract there. So moving on, we got 2 left. We got CCJ and Netflix. So CCJ, this one came in really quick. I wanted to get filled on this one. I couldn't get filled on this one because I was a little greedy on the fill. But we had a floor trade large cap today on the 6/14/53 call. Spot at 130, 4,000 contracts, 520K premium. Huge opening trade. Against, so 4,000 contracts against 21 open interest. Clearly an opening trade. Huge spike in the net call premium. Calls outweighing puts by a lot, and you can see that net put premium dropping at the same time. And let's pull up this. So again, here's that whale's entry, 130 on the day, or on the fill. These are running about 250, 247 right now, topped out at 268. Let me pull up the contract here. So yeah, they topped out at 275, so over 111% on the day for these. So, and again, CCJ, I believe, still running. Let me pop that up around the 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, this was that massive run up. This is where I tried to get filled right here on this drop, and I was just being greedy on the fill and just missed it. But really nice run up there. So moving back here, so then we had a Netflix one. So again, Netflix came in, again 14 days out, repeated hits, 655 call, spot of 295, 148K premium, clearly an opening trade. And let's look at that. This whale's actually down a little bit right now, the last I looked. So that is the whale's fill, and it looks like they might have grabbed a couple more contracts here around 230-ish. So watching that volume here, and earlier in the day, huge spike in that net call premium. Calls still outweighing puts here. Bid side puts are in here as well. So looking at that, and I believe, let me pull up Netflix here. So again, the whale kind of bought in about here, and it's been choppy throughout the day. Kind of, I have a support line there. So obviously 14 days on here. Again, hard to analyze something that hasn't really fully made a move yet, but that is our trade recap for the week. So again, we have 3 that are down right now. So we have SHLS, which is down, AAPL, which is down, and NFLX is down. Everything else made a positive move in our direction with a good amount of profits. So the 3 that are down, obviously, a lot of time, 63 days on SHLS, 21 days on AAPL, and 14 days on NFLX. So I will keep posting these for everybody that's interested. Obviously, if you're interested in joining Stock Hub, it's very affordable and can easily see you make your money here as well. And if you're interested in trying unusual whales as well, I do have a discount code that I'll drop in the description as well. Have a great weekend, everyone.